Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Van Spikowski, do you think that the 2020 presidential election was rigged?
Senator, that election's over with. There were no cases proven in court to show that it should be overturned, as happened in the, for example, the 2018 congressional race, the Ninth Circuit. So what we should be doing is looking forward to try to fix the vulnerabilities that we do know exist in the system.
So what's your answer?
I just gave you an answer. The way Joe Biden is the president, he was certified as the president. There were no cases in court proven to show that there was the kind of fraud that would have overturned the election. That's the way that, as you know, it works. In the Ninth Circuit in North Carolina, that happened.
So the 2020 election was not rigged.
Was what?
Not rigged.
I've given you my answer on this, Senator.
You know what? I don't understand a word you said. Seriously, this is for most folks.
I'll be happy to explain. If you have a case in which you believe that an election was wrongly decided, as happened in the 9th Congressional District,
I don't have much time.
You go to court and you prove your case. That didn't happen in the 2020 election.
So do you believe that a lot of those legal challenges, I guess only one was upheld, that it was proper decision by the court to throw all those challenges out?
I don't have all those cases in front of me, and I haven't reviewed all. I haven't reviewed all the cases.
Here's what I'm getting at. There's a subtext here, and the subtext is whether there's going to be ongoing challenges. And there's a certain person running for president right now who's already still talking about that as being rigged. And election integrity that you're talking about includes getting rid of what has been a significant protection in Shelby County with preclearance. Also, my understanding, maybe Mr. you can describe this, is that since Shelby, there have been numerous restrictive voting statutes passed in various states. Can you just comment on that?
Well, sure, and I think the record's very clear on that. We've heard testimony earlier today. There's something just very strange, whether it's political opportunity or some coordinated effort, that all of a sudden, around the nation, we see so many restrictive voting laws all of a sudden.
Well, by the way, my understanding from the Brennan Center study is that the incident rate of voter fraud is about 0.0003%. Does that conform to what you understand the data says?
It does. I described it earlier as infinitesimally small, and you've given some metrics to that.
All right. So a lot of these voter restriction laws sound valid, but they sound okay, neutral, which, of course, is what was the case with a lot of the Jim Crow provisions that prevented so many people from voting for so long. It appeared on its face to be neutral, like voter ID laws. But if that is the incidence of fraud, 0.0003, it seems to me that many of these laws that make it a little bit more onerous for people to vote are laws in search of a problem. Would you agree with that?
I would wholeheartedly agree.
I want to talk a little bit, too, about this is a slightly different topic, but re-enfranchisement laws. Vermont actually and Maine are two states that allow felons to vote. Many states have laws that allow a person who's completed his or her sentence to vote. I think that's important because I think voting is an action, a decision. But the process of voting is engagement, civic engagement, talking with your neighbors, talking with your friends about your point of view, about how you can build community through civic action. I'll ask you, Ms. Larkin, do you have any views on the importance of including the opportunity for people to vote who've completed their sentences?
Thank you for that question. We absolutely support the restoration of rights for people who have been convicted of felonies or other crimes. These laws, these felon disenfranchisement laws, have been rooted in Jim Crow and unfortunately have continuing impacts on the ability of communities of color in this country to be able to have their voices heard, particularly after they've completed their sentences.
Okay. Thank you very much. I yield back, Mr. Chairman.